Thank you, Sandy. Harriet, you're here. It's so lovely to see you. Thank you for being here and closing us out for the evening.
Hey, Leslie, it's an absolute pleasure to be here with you and all of your listeners. Well done to all of you that have been here till the end. And what an amazing summit it's been. All the other speakers have been outstanding. And I think everyone else has said it best, but you're just doing a beautiful, outstanding job. And we're doing exactly the name of the summit, Rise Revolution.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Harriet. Thank you. And I know it's super late for you right now.
It
It's
is.
it's very late, and I appreciate because you kind of came in at the last minute. I said, "This is all I got left," and you're like, "All right, I'm in. I'm
Let's
in."
do it. I was
Uh,
excited about what you're doing.
I love it. I love it. I'm glad you're here, and I'm so excited. We're going to be talking about keep your fire burning. Keep your fire burning. Tell us a little bit about what kind of brought you to this point to be, helping people to burn, start to burn their fire, find their fire and burn it and keep it burning. Tell us a little bit about what led you to this.
Well, I think to give it a little bit of context, I am a firewalk guide. So the connection of the title and a lot of what I speak into keep your fire burning, ignite your fire, ignite the spark. I lean into a lot of these different analogies and play on words around fire for that very reason. I love the fire. I teach, share, and do the fire walk a lot myself. So that's the connection behind the wording and my love of fire. And I think it's true, we all have a fire inside of us. It burns at different levels on different days, but we all have that fire inside of us. And so many other speakers have shared that, but just in a different way today. So for me, that's really what the connection was, and what I'm super passionate about is connecting to that fire. It's another way of wording what the epic speakers have said today. We have something phenomenal inside of us, and everyone has different wording for it. And I'd love to hear what your guys' words are, but we forget, we lose our way, we are fresh souls, however you want to put it. We have experiences that we go through when we were younger that mold how we show up when we're older. And the most common expression is the awakening. But for me, in essence, it's just about reconnecting to who you've always been and what's always been inside of you. And for me, that's that fire, your soul, your spirit, who you are at your core.
Love it. I love it. Um, so let's talk about this a little bit. Let's talk about your fire, finding that spark, keeping it going, keeping your fire burning. Let's talk about that a little bit.
Sure, absolutely. I think something that I shared within that that's really important for everybody to remember when we talk about rising, when we talk about motivation, when we talk about inspiration, I think a lot of us, and give me a thumbs up if you're on camera or just drop it in the chat, give me a yes. We kind of have this momentary illusion that it's going to be forever and all the time. And we want to feel that all the time in that moment, like, yes, I can do this. I'm empowered. I'm on top of the world. My fire is burning brightly. I'm ready. We've all had those times in life where we felt like that. And I think sometimes in the sort of normality, all the ups and downs of life, we forget that they are temporary moments. So it's not about having your fire blazing all the time, but it is about bringing that calm constant and having your fire just kind of consistently burning and knowing at times it's going to blaze, but at that other times it's going to be like that little candle or maybe even embers, those days where you don't even feel like getting out of bed, right?
Right, right.
So what I mean by this again is it's our conscious choice of how we show up each day. And I think it's important to remember that we're going to go through ups and downs. We're going to experience all the emotions. So it's not about always being super motivated. It's not about never feeling fear. It's not about always rising in every single moment of every single day, but it's about continuously rising over time, taking the
Right.
steps, putting the logs into that fire. And I think one of, for me, the best ways of doing that is your self talk. How are you
Mhm.
speaking to yourself? What is your story? What is your thought process? And I love affirmations. I love incantations. I'm sure a lot of people listening and a lot of the other speakers do too. But it's also that reminder that it's not about just leaping. You know, if something's going wrong or something's frustrating you, something's really challenging you, or perhaps you've had a loss. And I'm not going to go into those emotions because we don't have a lot of time today. But, you know, there's times where you have those really heavy incidents where you want outside support. But a lot of the time I find in the day-to-day ups and downs that just by using your self-talk, by easing yourself gradually into different states of mind through the way that you speak to yourself, what you think about, what you focus on. Our minds are amazing, but they cannot exist in two dominant emotions at the same time. It's not possible. So the more you create the story that supports you, that doesn't leap you from feeling angry to feeling amazing, but just brings you back to that calm constant. What story and what internal self talk is going to support you?
I love this, you're speaking of balance. That balance of, yes, we have ups and downs, and that is life. And it's allowing yourself to have balance while you're going through those. So the highs aren't so high and the lows aren't so low. And all the things you're talking about, the embers, the candle, the little flame, the big flame, that's all part of life. But I think the constant is keeping it flowing,
Exactly.
keeping it
Exactly.
flowing. Yeah. Yeah. So, we've heard a lot of, I mean, at least I have, and I'm assuming lots of people have heard this self-talk, so what does that mean? What is, how do we self-talk to ourselves in a way to bring us back into balance?
Well, I invite everybody, first of all, to say hello. Not out loud, but say hello. Again, just say hello. How are
And
you? I'm at the Rise Summit, but say it all inside of your mind. Yes?
yes.
That voice. That voice is speaking away to us all day long, sometimes knowingly, sometimes unknowingly. I think it was Krista or Christy that shared earlier, the Joe Dispenza, that we have 60 to 80,000 thoughts per day, right? So obviously, we're not conscious of every single one of those thoughts, but many we are. We notice how we speak to ourselves if we become conscious of this. Yes, the first step is awareness. Everybody write that down, take note. Awareness. You know, a lot of these thoughts, and Krista again said it earlier, are on automation unless we bring consciousness and awareness. So you need to notice. So again, if you say, hello, how are you doing today? But you say it inside of your mind, and then just try pausing. Hello, how are you? Right? And it sounds ridiculous when you're doing it out loud, but it's just that conscious practice of noticing the way in which you are speaking to yourself. Our thoughts determine our feelings. Yes, how we feel, our emotions. Our thoughts and our emotions combined determine how we act, determine what we do, how we show up, etc. And of course, thoughts, feelings, and actions determine the results that we receive. So if it all starts with thought, what is your thought? What story are you saying to yourself? So again, it starts with that awareness, noticing how you're speaking, and then literally just pausing and starting to tell yourself a different story. And I'm going to be super generic here, but just kind of lean into that reminder again. It's not about, like, say you're someone, a lot of people, most people would like to increase their income, no matter what level they're at. A lot of people like to increase their income. But I remember kind of first coming into this world, and I was a very, people say I've got a lot of energy now, but at that time I was like Tasmanian devil, just sometimes super insecure and wearing a mask, and sometimes just being Harriet and showing up with ADHD. I'm distracting myself now by even just sharing that story. But I used to hear about incantations and earning money. And I'll just be honest, at that time, I was digging for coins down the back of my sofa. I was not well off at all. And yet I was seeing these statements and these incantations to look in the mirror and say, I'm a millionaire. I'm a millionaire. Right? So I, as I just said, like a Tasmanian devil, would stand in front of the mirror and say, I'm a millionaire, I'm a millionaire. And I'd say it in my self-talk, my internal dialogue as well. But again, remember it's thoughts and feelings. It's not just thought. I think it's been said today, but this is, we're all energy, yes? We're all vibrational beings. Again, whatever terminology or language you want to put to that. So it's how we think and how we feel. So I'd stand in front of the mirror and say, I'm a millionaire. And then I'd be digging for coins, thinking, fraud, imposter, no, you're not. This is ridiculous. You wish. And actually, it did more harm than good. So your self-talk isn't about pretending. It's not about faking. It's not about masking, but it is about shifting. It is about bridging. It is about bringing in a different perspective. So if you're reaching for coins down the back of the sofa, just to keep using this example, my income is improving. I'm
Mhm.
getting better with my finances. I'm starting to notice more money coming in. I have more left at the end of each month, whatever you want it to be. Like, still have that vision of what you see for yourself in the future, but only look into that when you're feeling good, empowered, and on fire. But for the
Yes.
day to day, it's just about that calm constant. Yes. That
I
building, that bridging, that rising.
I think that's so important that, there is a lot of this, like you said, to say I'm a millionaire and it'll come true. But there's the belief part of it that you have to have some belief, and it's much more believable to say, hey, I am working toward, or I'm have more money at the end of the month than I used to. My income is getting
Exactly.
better. I'm doing things to improve my income. All of those things that are believable and take you in the same direction as
Exactly.
where you want to be, right? I
Yeah,
know Marty said
absolutely.
earlier the vision. So creating that vision, and I love the way you said that bridging. So continuing to take that walk and those small steps toward that vision.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly. And I'm sure that you had those moments within your journey. I know you're very used to running summits, so maybe not for this one, but for your first one, having that vision of what you wanted to do, but needing to go through all those different steps and just tending to that, holding that fire in the process,
right, right.
speaking yourself into how it's going to unfold. If you'd stayed in the story of how am I going to do this? It can't happen. No one will show up, or whatever it might have been, then we wouldn't all be sitting here today.
It's true. It's so true. And, it is, I just, I can't say how important this is of what you're sharing with us in the self-talk realm, of how important it is for you to believe what you're saying as well, because the emotion is attached to it as well.
Exactly.
Right? Right. I love that. And I think you've heard me say this earlier, emotions are given a bad rap. They just are what they are, and those are the red flags that tell us, hey, you got to look at your thinking.
Yeah. There's an
Right?
expression in the UK. I don't know if you guys have it over there, but I'll share with you. It's from a comedian, a Scottish comedian called Billy Connolly. And he says, with the weather, because of course the UK, particularly Scotland, is renowned for rain. He says, there's no such thing as bad weather, only the wrong clothes. And I say, there's no such thing as bad emotions, only the wrong perspective. And again, it's about that realization. A few speakers have said it today. We're having a human experience. So no matter what our belief is, that varies for all of us, but we're having a human experience, and that is a constant for all of us. And therefore, we are going to experience all of these different anger, frustration, happiness, joy, love. hate, right? Those are all going to show up. That's the duality, the yin yang, the light dark, but it's part of that experience. I'm sure many of you have heard the saying, if you didn't go through disempowerment, you wouldn't feel empowerment. If you didn't go through challenge and struggle and hard times, you wouldn't enjoy the happiness, the joy, the ease, the wonderful times. So it's really important to embrace all of it, but don't stay stuck in the emotions that don't serve you. Let's put it that way.
Right, right. And how do we move through those, Harriet? When you said, don't stay stuck, how do we move through them and not stay stuck there?
Well, I do think it's important to know, and what you're doing here today, even just the VIP gifts for many will be immensely helpful. But I always like to say, because I feel it's almost like a due diligence, if there's someone that's really in a difficult situation right now and going through challenge, reach out, connect. You've seen some amazing speakers today. There are so many coaches, energy healers, NLP. There's so many different modalities. It's been said already. I'm saying it again, but still, like if you need to, not if you if you feel it will support you, not even necessarily if you need to, because some of us find it difficult to ask for help, right? It's immensely powerful, and it's been such a huge part of mine and many other speakers today's journey. So I highly recommend reaching out and having help as a huge tip. But otherwise, of course, I've spoken about self-talk, and just to kind of throw different ones out there, and it's going to be different for everybody. Meditation, visualization, journaling, getting out in nature, talking to a friend, but a friend that is encouraging and is empowering, isn't the one that's going to trash or badmouth or fuel I was going to say fuel the fire, but we've been speaking about fire in such a positive way, so I don't want to go there. But you know what I mean, right? They're
Feel
just
that
not helpful.
negativity,
They jump on the negative train, right?
right?
It's not about that. It's about having a supportive, having time to feel and be in the emotions, but having supportive, encouraging, helpful conversations. Attend summits like this, listen, look at your notes. After today, like go back through what resonated with you. What's one thing that one speaker said, or one to three things, or three to five, whatever, we might have some high achievers in the house, whatever number, but a low number that you're more
Yes.
likely to execute. Those are all different ways, that different tools, different rituals, practices that you can use that support you getting through challenge. Because again, it's not about waving a magic wand and being like, I'm over it, I'm done. We need that time. I am a prime example. I didn't know I was going to share this, but I have done before. I'm a prime example of someone that would throw a self-pity party. At the time, of course, it was what other people were doing. It was my business wasn't working, or, I had all the reasons, excuses. But essentially, I would throw a self-pity party, and I would sit on the sofa for weeks. And I really mean that. I don't have children. I didn't have any team at that time. I was a solo entrepreneur. I could hide. And I would have self-pity parties. I might show up for a call here and there, but I would postpone things. I'd cancel things. I don't know if anyone can relate to this, but I'm just saying, like, I was awful at times, right? But
Yep.
now I still get the same emotions, and I want everyone to get that, like fear, self-doubt, anxiety, imposter syndrome, questioning myself, all of those same emotions that used to spiral me into the sofa Netflix. There's some really good series, and ice cream pity party. Now, most of the time, I'll resolve it in 10 minutes. Sometimes it's longer, sometimes it's an hour or two, sometimes it might be a day, sometimes I sleep on it, come back to it. But the majority of the time, with things that kind of catch us off guard on a day-to-day basis, triggers or bring out that emotion, I'm able to diffuse it and come back to that calm content and carry on, keep rising now. And again, that's taken me a long, long time of repeatedly doing the mini tools that I said earlier. But that's the
Right.
difference from someone that was the self-pity queen to now embraces her emotions but keeps rising steadily.
Right. I love it's so important that it's not a perfect, it's a practice, right? We keep practicing and that muscle grows. The more you use
Exactly.
the tools, the easier they become to use. And I mean, I'm all for like a little bit of self-pity, I'm not going to say don't go there, but put a time limit on it. You can just say like for 10 minutes here, I'm just gonna let myself just wallow in this, but it's only 10 minutes, and then I'm gonna do the things that I know help me to move through and move to the next level or rise. Like like we keep saying.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah. And I
it's
just
not
want
a
to add
bad
one
thing.
thing because I think this
Yes.
is quite important for everybody here, and especially for a couple of us, right? Because
Yeah.
everybody's different, but for a few people here, especially if you're a coach, a leader, a healer, a mentor, sometimes I think it's easy for us to give ourselves even more of a hard time, right? Because it's like we
Mhm.
know the tools, we know what to do, we attend things like this. Yeah. But I think sometimes it's really important, exactly as Leslie just said, just to allow the emotion. There's been days where I've sat on the sofa and I've said to myself, like, get out in nature, go for a walk, look at I've got like a photo album, which is just awesome, epic, different moments and experiences of my life that always brings joy, right? And I was just in a dark place and it was like, no, no, I was just being stubborn. But there was two words, and I learned this from a speaker called Kyle Cease. Kyle Cease. There was two words for me that absolutely changed the game. What I used to do when I allowed that emotion was beat myself up afterwards, right? Or still have that faint thing in the back of my head of like, oh, I shouldn't be like this, or I don't want to be like this, or whatever it might be, right? There was almost like that conflict of just sinking into the feeling.
Yeah.
But what changed it for me, I don't know if are we swearing on this or not.
Oh, it's all up to you. I'm okay with it, and we've had a few along the
Well,
way.
I'll bleep it slightly. Right? There's those days where you just go, I feel like,
Yeah.
and that's okay. And those two words just completely changed it for me. Like with all of them, when you're angry, just to say that, right? I'm angry, and that's okay. Not to try and shift it, not to try and move it yet.
Yeah.
Again, give yourself that time to feel the emotion and then shift. And that'll vary depending on what it is that's caused that emotion for you.
Right.
But allow yourself to feel it. And for me, I don't know if that helps anybody here, but just those two words when I was in those emotional
I love,
feelings, situations, just changed it.
and it really is okay. It really is okay. All of our emotions are there for a reason. They're not good or
Exactly.
bad. They're not positive or negative. They just are, and that's okay.
Yeah,
Use that. That's so effective to say that's okay. I'm where
exactly.
I'm at right now, and that's okay.
Yeah,
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Harriet, you've got a free gift for us. You've got a very a generous free gift for us today for everybody that's here.
I do. And I'm grateful in some ways. Of course, it's always a pleasure to have more, but I think with 18 people here, so for those of you that do want to jump on this, yes, I do have a generous session. I think this Rise Revolution is an awesome summit that is doing so much for women. And I am particularly passionate this year. It's my 40th birthday coming up soon. So I'm particularly passionate about really stepping into at a bigger level this mission of supporting women to speak and sell and essentially share themselves, their story, and their message with aligned confidence. So, for anyone that feels drawn to that, connects with that, wants to know more about themselves growing in that area, if it doesn't, don't do it. Save your time, save my time. But if it does and you would like to, then please book a one-to-one session with my Calendly link there.
I love that.
And thank you for the birthday wishes. You're the first one. Does that mean I can start celebrating now? Yes,
You
it
beat me
does.
to it, Al. You beat me to it. 40 is an amazing year in so many ways. And I'm going to say this because we're getting to the end of the day, so I can. But I hear so many people that are like, "Oh no, I'm 40. Da, 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 I'm 40." And when I turned 40, I can remember looking around at all the people that were there to celebrate and thinking, if I didn't have these 40 years behind me, I would not have all of this to celebrate with me.
Yes, that's such a
Right,
beautiful way
right,
of looking at it.
right. So
Yeah.
happy early birthday. You're getting lots of birthday love there.
Thank you very much.
And we are going to be sending that free gift. If you are on the Facebook group, that free gift is going to be put under Harriet's picture in the Facebook group, so you can access that. Now, you also have a VIP gift. Live in your
I
peaceful
was just
power.
answering in the chat. Everyone's putting their birthday wishes in, which is so cute. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yes, my VIP is living in your peaceful power. It's not focusing so much at the external public speaking. It's focusing at what we spoke about during this wonderful conversation. Thank you so much, Leslie. It's about your self-talk. It's about unleashing your warrior within. It's about keeping your fire burning. How do we truly allow ourselves to not just create shift, but maintain that shift so that we can live from your peaceful power? I shared it earlier as your calm constant, but within this VIP gift, it's live in your peaceful power. And it's just a short series of videos, each one going into different tips and tools that will support you to live in your peaceful power.
Beautiful. As I've said before, the speakers have been so generous with our VIP gifts. If you haven't already, upgrade. It's 47. It's well worth it. You get all of the recordings. And I appreciate you being here, Harriet. What a way to finish off our day. Thank you for bringing your energy. Thank you for keeping us going here at the end. For some people, they've been here right from the beginning, stayed right to the end. Thanks for closing us out in such an amazing way. I have loved this chat and I look forward to more chats with you, Harriet. This has been awesome. So thank you for
I
being
have
here.
truly, truly enjoyed it. And I really trust and hope that we come across each other's paths again and I get to do another summit with you. But for now, can everyone just put like hearts in your if you're on camera? Yes, Eve. Yes, Elizabeth. And for anyone that is doesn't have your camera on, just put hearts in the chat, put hearts on your screen. You know where this is going. For beautiful, amazing Leslie, I really enjoyed our conversation, but I missed the first few, but otherwise I've heard every speaker and all the conversations have been so powerful, so beneficial, so enlightening, so supportive, and even more than that, so heart centered. And that's been from you, the facilitator and the host. So, one more time, everybody, please send in the love for
Thank
Leslie.
you. Thank you. Thank you, Harriet. Thank you. Stay on the line, Harriet.